7 out of 10 Americans are considered obese and overweight. Why do you think that is? I'm going to share with you the responses that I've been getting asking this question both on Instagram and Facebook. But I want you to think about this. Why are so many Americans obese and overweight? Now, a lot of people said, oh, because the processed foods, right? They're addictive. The seed oils, the FDA doesn't regulate certain foods. The government doesn't care. That's one aspect, right? And there's some truth to that. Other people said that individuals are just lazy and they have low standards, and that's why they're obese and overweight, because they don't do anything about it. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Crane. We're here at my house in my home gym in Goleta, California. We're sharing some valuable content and messages today, and I want to get right into this one. But before I do, make sure you subscribe, share my channel with others who need to be inspired to live the ultimate life. I'm going to give you all the actionable steps, all the information and inspiration you need to take your life to the next level. And look, I'm on a mission to change the world, but I'm one man and I can't do it by myself. I need you to step up, to level up, to lead by example, and share this message and do the right thing in your life every day so the people observing you are inspired to take their life to the next level and they have the example so they know what to do. Today, I want to talk to you guys about nutrition and specifically processed food. And what prompted this thought process for me is the other day I did a poll on Instagram on my story, and I asked this question, about obesity. Right now, obesity rates are 7 out of 10 of Americans are considered obese and overweight. And I asked, why? Why is this happening? And I gave a couple options. One of them was like processed foods. One of them was basically blaming the government. The other one is like lack of information, right? So I want to ask you right now, like 7 out of 10 Americans are considered obese and overweight. Why do you think that is? I'm going to share with you the responses that I've been getting asking this question both on Instagram and Facebook. But I want you to think about this. Why are so many Americans obese and overweight? Now, a lot of people said, oh, because the processed foods, right? They're addictive. The seed oils, the FDA doesn't regulate certain foods. The government doesn't care. That's one aspect, right? And there's some truth to that. Other people said that individuals are just lazy and they have low standards, and that's why they're obese and overweight, because they don't do anything about it. That's another aspect, right? There's people in life that are always going to blame others. They're going to blame the government. They're going to blame the foods, the processed foods. They're not going to take responsibility for their results and their actions. They're victims. They're victims, and they're not going to change. And if they do change, it's because they're going to look in the mirror and get sick and tired of that person that they see, and they're going to be willing to do whatever it takes to change. But here's the thing, I asked all these individuals that question. They all responded the same way, like processed foods, this and that. But no one really failed to acknowledge that, dude, you have the choice every day as to what you put in your mouth. You have the choice as to what foods you consume, right? Like, it's a choice. You could choose to eat some organic vegetables and fruits, or you can get the easy, convenient processed food that's in a package that over time deteriorates the quality of your health. So let's break it down a little bit here, though. Processed foods are so bad for you, and they're everywhere, and they're convenient, and they taste good. Convenience is a major factor for people. They don't plan ahead. They don't have an education around nutrition, so they just get whatever is at the gas station. They just get fast food. They get whatever is easy and convenient. And not just that, but it's learned behavior. They saw their parents do it. They saw their friends doing it growing up, and it just became a conditioned behavior. But when you're eating processed food, it's so detrimental to your health. Your body can't digest and absorb and process that food the same way, and it causes a host of ailments internally: leaky gut, inflammation, the inability to absorb nutrients properly. A lot of people die early in their life because of the food they eat. They develop disease, right? And it affects their mental health too. A lot of people who are anxious, ADHD, depression, all these issues that are taking place with mental health, there's a strong correlation to the foods that we're consuming. And there's other toxins in the environment that are affecting people, but food is something that you're putting in your mouth 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. You're eating these meals. What are they made up of? That's why, like the old saying, you are what you eat, is true. You eat healthy food, eggs, lean meats, grass-fed beef, free-range eggs, organic fruits and vegetables. Like, that's what you're putting in your body. That's your fuel, versus the person that's eating McDonald's and burritos at the gas station and candy and cookies and dude, and sodas and all this stuff, like that just eats away at your well-being over time. But here's another component. The food right now that is heavily marketed by, fast food companies, by all these major corporations, the additives that they put in there are highly addicting. Like those salty snacks that we eat, chips and stuff like that, or those sugary, foods like desserts and cookies and ice creams and the drinks. They're very addicting, and people right now are plagued by an addiction to food. When you have a bad day, you go and binge eat, right? When you're feeling low or in a low emotional state, people turn to food. It's the most, it's the most accepted substance in America right now that is being abused more than anything else, more than tobacco, alcohol, more than opiates. All these things that are taboo, these things that kill people quickly, like opiates, fentanyl, and tobacco and other drugs, like we know that stuff's bad. If you see someone on the street putting a needle in their arm, that dang, that guy shouldn't be doing that. That's really dangerous. That guy's probably gonna go down a really dark place in his life if he keeps doing that. But when you see the overweight dad and his overweight son going to McDonald's to get some more fucking fast food, like no one really stops and recognizes how detrimental that is to those individuals' lives. And I see it all the time. All the time I see young people who are overweight and their parents are overweight and they're eating garbage. It's because they're addicted to food. They know better. They know that this stuff's bad for them. They know that they should eat healthy stuff, but they choose the unhealthy option. Why? Because for 10 seconds, for 1 minute, it tastes better on your taste buds in your mouth. Like that is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. So look at, I know that the FDA should regulate this stuff more. I know that at the grocery stores, we should have no unhealthy options, or at least very limited unhealthy options. We still want to maintain the power of choice in our country because that's what gives us freedom. You can't just eliminate all this stuff, and because then it's a slippery slope. And then people are talking about what? Taking guns, taking your car, taking your rights. Like, I get that. And that was a response I got on Instagram and Facebook. So it comes down to each individual having to develop discipline and self-control. The fact of the matter is most people don't have discipline or self-control. So what are we going to do? Become a nation full of fat, sloppy, lazy people just blaming the fact that they don't have self-control, blaming the government, blaming other people? Or are you going to look in the mirror and realize, dude, it's on you and you're being a victim and you're choosing, an easy way out right now that's going to cause you so much harm in the long run. Like people that are overweight, people that are eating bad food, they suffer immensely. They suffer. They can't chase their kids on the beach. They can't take their shirt off and feel proud of who they are. They get out of breath. They develop health issues. Their lives are plagued by their inability to have control over what they eat. And then the thing is they pass on these bad habits, in this poor example, to people around them. Like I could never imagine letting my baby girl get fat and out of shape because I was in the kitchen stuffing my face with donuts every morning and giving her donuts and then drinking chocolate milk and then going to Starbucks and getting a drink with 600 calories full of sugar and then getting a cheeseburger at lunch from McDonald's and coming home and eating freaking, macaroni and chips and snacks and then watching her get fat. Like, dude, I would never fucking do that to my children because I love them too much, right? I know what it's like for kids to grow up and get picked on and feel self-conscious. I was self-conscious for other reasons. My parents were drug addicts. My parents were alcoholics. My parents were doing bad stuff and the cops would come to our house. It's the same thing. Like you're bringing harm to your children by the way that you live. So the fact that my parents chose drugs and alcohol and they had their demons, right? Well, guess what? A lot of parents and a lot of people right now are choosing food and it's having a negative effect on their children. And you can't deny this fact. Like if you're overweight, you don't like the way you look. You're not proud of how you are and you don't feel optimized in your life, right? And then you're being that example around your children and they're going to grow up going through the same stuff that you're dealing with and you're okay with that. Like it's pathetic. So look at, we're going through something very severe and very drastic right now. If 7 out of 10 people are considered obese and overweight, what does that look like for the future of our country? Like our country wasn't built by fat, lazy people. It was built by strong, determined individuals who could work hard, who had energy and endurance and ambition. When you don't take care of your health, you lose that. You lose that drive. You lose that ambition. You're weakening your resolve and your mentality with every choice and decision you make that leads to a lesser version of yourself. So wake up call for you. If you're looking in the mirror and you're not happy with the physique you see, if you have those bad habits when it comes to nutrition because you're making excuses and you're not educating yourself on the right foods and disciplining yourself with what you eat, and you have children and you're being that example for them and they're subject to your bad behavior and your example, and you think that that's okay, wake up call. You're a fucking disease, okay? You're what's wrong with our country. You're what's wrong with parenting. What's wrong with this low standards that's taking place in America right now. And I'm calling you out. If you really care about the people in your lives, number one, you're capable to change. You're stronger than you realize. I believe in you because I was once somebody with bad habits and I changed, right? And you have to understand the effect it's having on people you say you love and care about. Wake the fuck up, change your life so you can be a better version of yourself for them.